Yeah, we really look like ESPN guys. You want to cross mics? We don't have to cross the streams though.
Just the tips.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Sensei Says podcast. I am Sensei Pascal, your humble podcast host. Thank you for choosing this new adventure of ours through which we're going to discuss weekly with successful people in order to dig out some actionable advice that's going to help you and me achieve a better life. If you like what you're watching or what you're listening to, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the bell, like the video, share to your friends, and the same goes for all of our audio platforms. At the end of the episode, if you like what you got, please leave a positive review. That's going to help us a lot with the growth of this podcast, and we're going to do that together. Now on to our very first guest. I'm super honored to have Rob Barger on board. I met Rob 2 years ago when I started my very own endurance / adventure race company here in Canada, which is called Warrior Endurance. And I reached out to Rob because he's a renowned Spartan Cryptia. That's a race director / race leader for the endurance division of Spartan Race. And he's also a multiple-time survivor of one of the most extreme races on the planet, the Spartan Death Race. So I reached out to him because I needed guidance and advice on how to produce a very good first event. And after several nagging emails and Facebook messages, he was kind enough to be patient and accept my invitation. And he drove all the way up from Boston to Montreal to help me out with my very first event, which was produced on Mount St. Bruno. That's about 15 minutes away from downtown Montreal, and that's where and when this interview was produced, through which we discuss the strategies and preparation tips for extreme challenges such as the death race, but it's also advice that you're going to find super relevant to your own life and hopefully become a better human being.
Good morning, Montreal. Here we are on the side of the mountain. We're getting ready for the Alpha 001. It's the first event for the Warrior Endurance Company. Here with me today is Pascal. It is Pascal. Pascal. How you say that?
Well, it's I'm not sure what to do with my hands. Well, Pascal would be more of a Spanish type of thing, whereas Pascal would...
I don't see color.
All right, as we can see, we're having fun. We've been out on the mountain,
days.
For me, for days. We just came out of the woods. But having fun, aren't we?
Oh, they are the friendliest bears I've ever seen.
All cuddly and everything?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
Pretty comfortable.
Yeah, and they smell nice, too.
There you go.
Which is good.
They smell like maple syrup because they're Canadian bears.
Yeah. They got some relatives in Vermont. They ship it.
They ship it.
Yeah, it's an import-export business.
So we spent almost a portion of the morning webbing 600 feet of rope up there. They don't know that yet, but that's all ropes they're going to have to crawl under. That's going to be fun. But it's not about Warrior Endurance now, because it's really cool. We're going to have fun maybe in a couple of hours, but it's about you today.
Fun. It's about me.
Yeah, it's about you. You're the star. That's why you have the sunglasses and I don't, because I got more humility. And you got more charisma, so we're equal.
No, I'm a night person. I'm a cold weather person.
Yeah, there you go. The sun is coming out.
It's so bright. I don't like it.
Are you a vampire or something?
No, I'm just channeling
We're so pale. I think we are. We're so pale.
Yeah,
I think we might be.
Well, I do have a family lineage from the
Transylvania,
from France, actually.
From France,
from Brest specifically.
Because you have to accentuate the end of your sentence with a hop.
French.
Like with France.
French dressing. French water, Peru.
Well, I think we're like 5 minutes in, and there's nothing but trash.
Oh, this is pure comic gold. It's just snippets.
There you go.
30-second tidbit. That guy's racist. Did you hear what he said?
And we're switching to a comedy podcast right now.
Yeah.
This is not about self-growth.
You're welcome, or I'm sorry.
There you go. So tell me about you, man. How did you get into endurance? We're going to get into the death race later on because that's the point, the objective of this interview, and give you 3 pieces of advice if you ever want to participate into the death race. And I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of egotistical on that one because I'm planning on doing it next year. So I'm going to take what you say very seriously.
You ready?
There you go.
Watch this. Done.
Well, we could do it the way Macho Man and Hulk Hogan did it in the 80s when they formed up a team. No? They do like the super handshake, like, I don't know, Hulk Hogan, I'm gonna shake your hand.
I got it coming for you, brother, man.
You feel the power of the Hulkamaniac. Oh!
Dylan, you son of a bitch.
Oh, we're going nowhere with this. So, endurance, go. Why and how?
Many a year ago, probably 2009, I was living in Las Vegas. I knew somebody that was putting together a team for the Ragnar relay, and he needed an extra person. He's like, hey, you want to do this thing? And I was like, okay.
And what's the Ragnar relay?
The Ragnar relay is a 12-person, well, we had a 12-person team. You can do fewer people. You can do a 6-person ultra team, but
okay.
It's a relay race. 180 to 200 miles. And every person runs whatever the interval is. So if you have 12 people, runner number 1 passes off to runner number 2, pass. It gets back around from runner number 12, back to runner number 1. Every runner goes 3 times. Unless you have a 6-person team, in which case every runner goes 6 times. It's just math. So he needed an extra person. I thought, oh, okay. So my first run, so that was in the fall of 2009, and we were running through the Valley of Fire in Las Vegas, which is mostly marketing. It wasn't on fire at the time. So we're just running along, and I thought it was okay, but it was 8.6 miles. And at that point, that was the longest distance I had ever run continuously. We got to the exchange point. There was a guy on our team right there. Was, hey, you just finished the first leg of the Ragnar relay. How do you feel? And I just looked at him and went, man, I am bored. Just of running with the left foot and the right foot and the over and over again. So it wasn't necessarily the distance. It was just the monotony of running. Because at that point, I was like, running, it's terrible. Now, years later, I understand that running is part of the training regime. So you don't think about it. You just do it. But at the time, I was, running is terrible. I want to find something else. So I started looking into other things, and I discovered obstacle course racing, which is similar distance, but there were obstacles to break up the distance.
Yeah.
So if you got a little bit of the OCD, it's fine. You run a little bit, you do an obstacle. Run a little bit, do an obstacle.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So it was something that I got into. There were no races, no obstacle course races in Las Vegas at the time. Boot Camp Las Vegas was doing some of their own obstacle course races, but they were kind of small in Bootleg Canyon, just outside of Vegas. But then Spartan started coming around to Vail Lake in Temecula, California in 2012. That was my first race, and it went terribly. It was so bad. I was training for it. I thought I was in good shape, and then I was running around in the mountains of Temecula, and I realized I was not in as good shape as I thought I was. Cramping was a severe issue. I got 4 miles into the race, and my right calf started to cramp up. Like, all right, well, I'm halfway through. I can go 4 miles back that way and quit, or I can go 4 miles that way and finish, and I didn't come here to not finish, so I guess I'm going that way. By the time I got to the finish line, both of my calves were cramping so bad, it looked like there were worms crawling under the skin, just muscles twitching all over the place. I had bruises for days. It was terrible. So I learned a lot about training and nutrition at that race. All right. But that was the start of endurance for me, was just enduring my own dumb mistakes.
So it's not doing an endurance race per se, but endurance as in components of your training towards OCR. So when did you get into endurance as a type of race? Because the movement itself has a hard time defining itself. It's like OCR, but not OCR. It's parallel. It's the same. It's not the same. Communities, they got some crossovers, but they're different at the same time. So when did you get into endurance? Was it goruck or Spartan?
Funny thing, it was actually that very same day. It was the day before, actually. The day before running that super in Temecula, I was walking around, my cousin and I. He flew out to Vegas. We drove to Temecula. We had a hotel room somewhere outside of where the race was. A guy that was staying a couple rooms over from us hanging out with the TV on. He's got the door open. I'm just walking around. He's like, "Hey, bro, how's it going?" I'm like, "Hey, what's going on, buddy?" And he just struck up a conversation with me. He shows me his forearm, which has a tattoo on it, and it was the old school goruck logo with the flames because they were partnered up with Tough Mudder at the time. And he's like, "Hey, if you see somebody with a tattoo that looks like this or a patch that looks like that, just talk to them, ask them what they're all about because they do these awesome events called goruck. You should check it out." And I was like, "Okay, I will do that." Did the Spartan race, had an awesome time. Got all the way back home, started looking up this goruck thing, and realized that much like some of the other obstacle course races and such, there were no events in Vegas. So, sad face. But they offered the opportunity to do custom events. So I'm trying to figure out how to drum up interest to pay for a custom event, to get enough people to offset the cost of doing this custom event. While all of that's going on, all of a sudden, they release an event in Vegas. This is awesome. So I don't have to do all the work. They're going to do it for me. Cool. So it was New Year's Eve from 2012 going into 2013. They offered 2 classes. And this was basically when they only had the tough. That was it. They had a 12-hour event and that was it. So they had one the night before New Year's Eve and then they had one on New Year's Eve. And I couldn't think of a better way to spend New Year's Eve in Las Vegas than being face down in a puddle of mud doing push-ups with 15 total strangers. So I did that.
You go.
Yeah.
All right.
Fireworks going off at midnight, and we're just, why am I doing this? I could be having fun right now. Why am I doing this? So that was my introduction into multi-hour events.
That's a cool way to start, eh?
Yeah.
Like it's New Year's Eve, you're in Vegas, and fireworks go out while you're doing a suck fest or performing a suck fest. That's kind of a cool way to start.
Yeah, it definitely helped change the mindset because
There you
as it was 6 o'clock New Year's Day, we're going north up the strip. We look like hell because we've been going since 9 p.m. the night before. So we're going on about 9 hours at that point. And as we're going north up the strip, people are falling out of the casinos. They're still drinking or they're realizing that they made a horrible mistake and they need to get back to their own hotel room. Whew, walk of shame. But people are asking us, what are you doing? And like, we're goruck. And like, what? It's goruck. Well, f*** you too. Like, no, goruck with an R. Never mind. Just forget it. Yeah, just 16 idiots carrying stuff up the strip with the backpacks on. It just looked so out of place. It broke people's brains. That's not something that you do in Las Vegas. But yeah, it actually is. But it was fun. So
from telling people to go rock themselves on the Vegas Strip to the Death Race, first experience, how did it go?
Well, let's see, it was the New Year's Eve 2013. I did that goruck event. 2 weeks later, I was in Tucson, Arizona doing a 36-hour event. And then I had signed up for the Death Race, which was, at the time, it was billed as you never know when it's going to end. But you had a fairly good idea that it would end at some point because the race directors have stuff to do. But that was...
You got lives too.
Yeah, they got the actual jobs. But it was coming up in, I think it was the end of June, somewhere in that neighborhood. So I went from doing my first Spartan event in January of 2012. I think that was a super. I did the first Fort Carson event, which was just fantastic. They took out all the stops for the first Fort Carson event. And then I wound up doing the Beast in Sacramento in November of 2012, where it was 40 degrees and raining sideways. That was an exercise in suffering because cold. But then my first goruck event, New Year's Eve, and then the 36-hour event, and then I'm just heading right into the Death Race. And the philosophy was you just got to do it. Just go. So the idea was it's going to suck. It's supposed to suck. In fact, if it doesn't suck, you're not getting your money's worth. So just deal with it. Don't even think about it. Just if they give you something to do, just do that thing.
All right. How many of them have you done so far? I think 2 or 3.
I've participated in and finished 2 death races. I have been on staff for 3 death races.
So you are kind of a death race professional / expert, and you were on this
I don't think
year.
anybody's ever an expert at the death race. You just
Well,
sort of,
between you and me, I'll take you as an expert any day.
You make it up as you go along because it changes. Oh, we just had a staff meeting 13 seconds ago. We changed everything. What? Like, that's just the way it is. You're involved. You're on staff for the death race, and then you realize, well, why are they doing that thing? Oh, we decided to do this other thing. Well, when did that happen? Oh, you were over there. Okay. So there's a plan, and once the event starts, it becomes its own thing. And then Joe gets involved, and you crumble up your plan, and you get rid of it because Joe's not going to read it, and he's not going to stick to the script anyway.
All right, you're not getting scolded for saying that on a podcast, you think?
Oh, everybody knows. Yeah. It's called being in the Joe
common
zone.
thing.
Yeah. It's called either being in the Joe zone or being sucked up into the Joe NATO.
The Joe NATO, I like that. We were talking earlier about the death race and your philosophy about how to consider the death race. So maybe share that. That was your first point of advice when we talked about it earlier.
First thing
today.
is don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
Nobody gets out alive. Don't take it seriously, because the only purpose of the death race is to break you mentally, physically, or emotionally, preferably all three. And whatever
Why
it is,
not?
whatever it is you can do, that's the thing you're not going to do. If there's something that you absolutely hate doing, that's the thing that they're going to try to find out that you don't like, and that's all you're going to do. In 2013, I spent 16 hours doing yard work, sitting on my butt with a handsaw, cutting someone's lawn. Just sitting there, pulling up the grass, cutting with a handsaw, and that was it for 16 hours. Me and 15 other people were just cutting someone's grass for 16 hours, just clearing out their property. Somebody actually quit at that point. He was like, forget it, this isn't the death race, I didn't sign up for this, and he quit. And later, the race directors were like, well, yeah, you quit because that's what we needed to do to get you to quit. You're a big, strong dude. If we gave you this rock and said, go 20 miles that way, you go, yes, sir, and you just go 20 miles. You would just do it. But if we say, sit there and cut that grass, it's mind-numbing, it's tedious, it's boring, and you're like, this is dumb. And you get in your own head, you have too much time to think, and then suddenly you're just, forget it, I'm done.
And what would be the second piece of advice?
The second piece of advice is train for a little bit of everything. I know some people prefer one training method over another. You know, some people are into the CrossFit or the running or swimming or whatever it happens to be. Just train for all sorts of dumb stuff. Figure out the weirdest thing that you can do. Like pick a regular workout and try to figure out some way to make it worse. Like I would have people do sandbag burpee miles. Because doing a burpee mile is bad enough, but doing a sandbag mile is bad enough. So do a sandbag burpee mile. So you do a burpee, you pick up the sandbag, you throw it. You walk up to the sandbag, you do a burpee, pick up the sandbag, throw it. Do that for a mile. It gets boring real fast.
But at the same time, if you're able to just analyze a certain movement or different aspects of fitness, and you're able to train in all of these aspects and become generally fit and performant, maybe that's the key to like a random, quote-unquote random challenge like death race. If you're able to perform in any way, shape or form, whether it's for strength or endurance or lifting or swimming, if you're an all-around maybe athlete, that might be the trick.
It definitely helps.
All right.
You'd be amazed at the people that show up for the death race. You got all sorts of different types of builds. Some people that train for speed, some people that train for distance. It's not necessarily one specific thing that's going to give you an edge. It's just the mental stick-to-itiveness of just like, I'm not going to quit until I'm done. In 2014, a guy named Rick Cohen was filming some stuff for a documentary, which that footage actually got sold off to Skywalker, who does documentary stuff for Spartan all the time. Skywalker's awesome. Shout out to Skywalker. And Matt Watson, too. Love you. Mean it. But Rick was filming some stuff, and we're doing burpees and backwards rolls and everything, and they call me over, and they're like, so, how you doing? I'm doing fine. What's up? And they said, do you know what day it is? I know it's not Monday. Well, what do you mean? I know it's not Monday. It could be Saturday, it could be Sunday. I have no idea. I just know it's not Monday. Well, how do you know it's not Monday? Well, because I'm not standing here holding a plastic skull. Now, when people say it's not about the skull, it's about the journey. If the plastic skull is the thing that you focus on, then make it about the skull. Who cares? It's your race. It's your adventure. The reason for the death race, like I said, to break you mentally, physically, or emotionally, it's not supposed to have a start or an end or a direction. It's just supposed to be whatever it is to get you to quit. And if you can not quit by focusing on, well, I'm not holding that stupid piece of plastic that they buy on Amazon, I guess I got to keep going. Then fine, make it about that.
So number one would be do not take it seriously. Number two would be to be
variable training.
Yeah, variously fit, if that might be an expression. So what would be the final one?
The final one is just get ready for dumb stuff that's going to be frustrating, which kind of bounces off of point number one. But get good at staying awake for long periods of time and then doing math or puzzles, like that sort of thing. Because, if it's a true death race, like the one that we just had last a couple of months ago,
if it's true to the original Death Race, there's going to be some mind games, and you're going to have the presence of mind while you are fatigued and sleep deprived to be able to pay attention long enough to get the job done. This past race, they had some Lego blocks that were assembled in a specific configuration. They got to look at it for 30 seconds, and then they had to trudge all the way back up to Shrek's cabin, and from a table full of Lego blocks, they had to reassemble an exact replica of the Lego pile that they saw down at Miguel's cabin. And if they got it wrong, 250 burpees, go back, take another look. Well, the tricky thing was down at Miguel's cabin, there were actually 2 cups, and you picked one, but the 2 Lego blocks were different configurations. So if you picked the opposite one, oh boy. There were people that made multiple trips, but you just got to keep going back and forth and come up with a system of, okay, the bottom one is black, and then there's a red one and a green one, and you're taking notes, or you're trying to come up with some sort of shortcut, like some sort of way to figure out exactly how to best apply the knowledge that you have in your current mental state, and accept the instructions as they're given to you. Don't overthink it. So if you're instructed to make fire, boil water, or actually it was make fire, brew tea. Those were the 4 words that I said to people. Make fire, brew tea. Well, what about this and what about that? And I would just repeat myself. Make fire, brew tea.
Make fire, brew tea.
So sometimes it's what's not said that's helpful. So if you can work the game, then game the system.
All right. I think we got everything in. Finally.
Forever. This is like the 5th take.
We've done this interview over and over again for the last hour.
It was really hard remembering all that stuff at the front.
Yeah. All the handshakes, we practiced like for hours to get it proper.
I think I dislocated a finger.
You did?
Yeah.
I did too.
Well, he dislocated a finger.
And should we do a podcast and I5 or something? What do we do? Because I don't
want any trouble.
No?
I won.
Is this awkward enough?
Oh, yeah, it's totally awkward.
Oh, there you go.
I guess. I mean, we do what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but philosophies.
Yeah.
Joe Decker, at one point was the Guinness Book of World Records, world's fittest man. He won the Death Race twice. His philosophy at Gut Check Fitness is don't think, just do, become robotic.
There you go. So
I took a little bit of that. And the company that I'm running for training purposes, Red Path Performance Group.
Yeah.
There's a Facey Space page and an Instagrams and all that stuff.
I thought that was role-playing game, online game kind of trick.
Sneaky, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I get the crossover crowd. And we get the
all of these Candy Crush nerds.
But the idea of don't think, just do, become robotic has turned into go, do, that is all. It's the thing of I know it's not Monday morning because I'm not holding a skull. You do what it is you're told to do until there's nothing left to do.
There you go.
Just go.
And I do apologize to all Candy Crush nerds all across the globe. I just insulted them. I just realized that.
They're still playing Candy Crush?
I think they do.
Yeah.
Anything new with the Pokemon game where people used to get killed on the road because they were catching a Pikachu?
Nope, but now that's
super important.
Now there's
the end
a
of the
zombie
podcast.
chase app for your phone. If you want to go out running, you can have this zombie thing on your phone, and it feeds right into your headphones, and it tells you like there's a storyline, there's a narrative, and there's side missions, and all of a sudden, whoa, look out, there's a zombie chasing you, and it uses the GPS in your phone to track how fast you're going, and you need to pick up the pace.
There you go.
So they've gamified zombies.
There you go. So I just figured out that this podcast is like a sandwich of nonsense because like top and bottom, but the middle,
it's
it's
all very important. Take notes.
All right. So shall we be leaving now?
You
cannot go that way and me that way because of the wire. So no, that.
Got it. Stop touching that.
How about that for epic handshake, huh? If you haven't seen it, please go out of your way to go on our YouTube channel. You're gonna be mesmerized. It's gonna be one of the best moments of your life to see that handshake. It's Hulk Hogan or Macho Man, or it might be Rob Barger and Sensei Pascal. To us, it's all the same. It's all as epic. It's one for the ages, I say. So thank you, Rob, for all of the advice, which we shall revisit. So first, don't take life seriously, as you won't get out of it alive. So measure your attitude towards hardship. Second, train your body in a versatile manner. So you have to teach your body to be efficient at complex movement and random requests. And that's what you're going to find in extreme challenges such as the Spartan Death Race or any goruck event. And third, finally, but not least, be ready to perform under duress. Train yourself to perform mentally under fatigue. And again, that's not just for endurance racing per se, but say you're an entrepreneur. You know for a fact that even though you've worked 80, 90, 100 hours in your week, your business doesn't care about that. When an emergency comes up, you still have to be efficient at finding the right solution and stay focused on your goals in order to be successful. The same goes for parenting. So we all know kids, right? They have a lot of energy. They want to bounce around and run and have fun and play. When it's playtime, it's playtime, and they don't really care if you got a hard week's work in your system. You still have to be patient with them and find the energy to play with them and intervene in an efficient manner when it's time to apply some discipline. If you want to have some more info on the subject at hand, you can always find it on the episode page on senseisayspodcast.com or on the video description page on YouTube. And what I would like to know is what you have learned. Leave that in the video comments or on the website. I love to read you guys. We can always share that also on Twitter. You find me at Sensei Says Pod. Same goes for IG or Facebook at Sensei Says Pod. If you want to get the episodes fast and first, don't forget to sign up to our newsletter, senseisays.link/sign up. If you've liked the episode today, leave a positive review, share it to your friends, and go nuts through our archives. There's a variety of inspiring interviews to choose from and keep evolving. On that note, Saitos, you are dismissed.
We get stuck in certain situations, and if we recognize that our biology has some amount of control over what we're doing, that we're stuck in certain situations, we might be able to get out of
about 14,200 feet, and there was this lenticular cloud that was right on the top of the mountain, and it just wouldn't go away. It was minus 80 up there.